What's up, guys? Steve from Scroll Rips here, hopping on to talk about some of the craziness we got going on with the 30th anniversary celebration sets coming up. So let's just jump right in. Recently, we had the GameStop prices get released or popped out there on the internet. They opened pre releases. I'm sure a lot of other LGSs and all that released, but man, the prices right off the jump. I think originally GameStop came out with ETBs around, I think it was like 120 or maybe 130. By the time I saw the pricing, it was already at $150, which is three times MSRP. And then the big thing that you know has a lot of hype around it are the UPCs, and there's two different types of UPCs in this set. You've got the night and day versions there. So you get with one of them with the night, you get the Umbreon and one version of the Future Rare Pikachu, and then in the other one you get the Espeon and the other version of the Future Rare Pikachu. As the promos, there are, I believe, 29 regular packs that are like the regular celebrations packs, and then you get one that I think is like three cards of the classic collection part, right? There's 30 card set that's specifically the classic collection part of the set. Um, so you're guaranteed to get at least three from this. So okay, that the playmat, all that kind of stuff, right? That comes with UPCs. MSRP, you see some different info out there. Some were saying that it's 180, some saying 199.99. But bottom line is GameStop's putting it out there for $600. $600. Okay, we're over three times MSRP right off the bat. Right off the bat. Um, and people seem happy to pay it. From all the comments I was reading on the social media posts on it and that sort of thing. You're seeing it because it's already at that level of 600 from there. People are obviously trying to get those pre-ordered, get those, and then sell them. They're essentially flipping pre-orders. Okay, don't even have the product. This is not new. This happens in other popular sets where people try to sell a pre-order essentially. So they've, secured a pre-order, which we all know just because even if you've put money down and you've put in for pre-order, or you're on a list or something, does not actually guarantee that you're going to get the product. People do pre-orders, shops do pre-orders in order to help, get the funds in or get some of the funds in to help them cover the initial expenses of getting them in. Um, Sometimes to help with an allocation request. But if we're going to be honest, right, I think every shop is just going to max out whatever they can possibly get, right? They're not actually budgeting and figuring out like, oh, well, we only really have demand for 20. Like, no, they could sell them easily. There's going to be no problem in selling them. So I'm sure every shop out there that has access to distro is going to be, asking for as many as possible. So that's not why they're doing pre-sales, but it's just, I mean, it's crazy. You've got people selling pre-sales on eBay for 800 up to like $1,000. I think I've seen some places. It's up to like for UPC, that is right. It's up to like $1,400 in some places I've seen. Um, it's insane. I mean, let's be honest, right? The packs only have I think five cards per pack. Um, So you're not even getting a ton of cards, right? You're not guaranteed to pull any of the classic collection cards in the set other than that one pack, right? There's 29 regular packs and then one with that classic collection, I think three card pack. The other ones have five cards a pack and at least one Pikachu per pack. Um, I mean, it's insanity. I never thought it would get to be that level. I mean, I saw what Ascended Heroes looked like, and I knew obviously to expect something more than that. But I mean, shoot, at least Ascended Heroes, like there was possibilities of getting stuff out there at MSRP, um, or close to it. I came across some possibilities of securing product at a decently reasonable price, like an ETB at $60. I mean, we're starting right off the bat at a 150 based on GameStop, right? Judging by the fact that because the prices are so high right off the bat there, that GameStop is essentially signaling, okay, this is how much. You're setting a baseline floor for the secondary market. And so now people are very aware that if they get their hands on this, can get hands on MSRP product, that they're going to have the ability to easily make, charge 3 times the MSRP price, right? Because really with GameStop, unless you're going to line up at GameStops and wait, which I'm sure for this is going to be, we already have people for other sets, like not even crazy sets. I mean, it might just be some ancillary products that have Ascended Heroes or, and people waiting overnight at Best Buys and all sorts of other places. And then, if GameStop's selling it at this price point, then places that really have no business having cards, like Dick's Sporting Goods and Ace Hardwares and all them, they're going to easily follow suit. Because people are putting pre-orders in at this level, so they know at a minimum they can 3x what the MSRP should be. So then you're going to have other people, like it raises that whole floor, right? It raises the floor of the secondary market. And when you have such a high secondary market, that creates a greater incentive for people who have never been around the hobby, have no interest in actually opening packs, that literally just want to come in and flip stuff for a quick buck. Um, it's going to become um, way more appealing to them. So you're attracting all sorts of attention like that. And then, you have the other issues that we've already come across with other sets and in past, where either fake cards or resealed product, all that kind of stuff, because the amount of money that can be made on it, right? And especially if they're putting it out through channels that the buyer has very limited recourse, people can get away with literally selling tens of thousands of dollars of product before they either get shut down off of a platform or have to take some type of other action, right, to keep dodging any recourse. So I think there's a lot of problems that are going to arise from this. If we thought it was bad, trying to get a hold of MSRP product in person already, where you're having fights and, especially Costco's back with the Blooming Waters and all that kind of stuff. Now I get that they've changed things along the lines of limits and that kind of thing, and then that seems to have quelled some of that. Well, now there's a lot more money at stake, and not to mention the fact that this is it's complete opposite of what really the Pokemon Company wants. Obviously, yes, they're in it for the money. They want to sell the stuff. They know this stuff is going to sell. They could print this absolutely to the moon, and the stuff would still sell because the hype is so high right now. But really, what the Pokemon Company, right, what the goal is to continue to appeal to younger generations and continue to prolong the popularity of the franchise, right? Um, the the people that are in here around the hobby, that are here just to make a quick buck and do those sorts of things, whether you agree with it or not, they're not here to stay. When Pokemon eventually does calm down, when the market cools down, and things are all pretty much back to MSRP, because they come out with a few sets or whatever that people aren't as or don't find as appealing, um, and they can't sell as much, or it's not demanding as much money. There's a lot less money to be made. There's less demand on the secondary market. If people aren't really that interested, they're not going to pay top dollar for it. Okay, we're talking 30th anniversary set, and obviously the peak of interest here, um, this year, and probably within the last 5 years, like the highest demand that we're probably seeing in the space, right? They printed 10 billion cards last year, and it's still not enough. That wouldn't be 10 billion cards, probably could double that and would still have a really healthy secondary market. Um, just because the hype is so great right now, and the 30th anniversary. Um, to be honest, my opinion, I've shared it before. If you've watched some of the other videos, I'm not terribly impressed with the 30th anniversary set. It would have been nice to be able to pick up some of the cards. I think the at least I would say the classic collection. So let me caveat that the classic collection, those 30 cards that they put out there, there's only like a handful of them I would even be interested in really trying to get. At the price it's at now, there's no way I would spend a bunch of money chasing. If I were to even buy any of the product, like if I were to buy a $600 UPC from GameStop, that bad boy is staying sealed, because it's only going to plummet in value by opening it. So if you spend, and to me, it's not worth spending $600 for a little bit of fun opening the packs. Like $600 to open packs, um, that's an awfully steep paywall, right? Um, so speaking of its paywalls, like I was saying with Pokemon, their intent is to continue the popularity of Pokemon and keep that interest going in the younger generations. Well, I can't imagine a whole lot of parents out there being really interested in buying a UPC for their kid for $600. Um, Even an ETB at $150, that's kind of tough to stomach, right? My understanding is those ETBs, pretty standard. It's only gonna have like the 9 packs of that particular set. You had some in the past, I think, that supposedly had some packs from other sets, not just that particular anniversary set, and that helped add to the value of it, right? Celebrations, the 25th anniversary, they printed the crap out of that, and it was available for so long that even I was able to get a hold of the product for less than double MSRP, um, like probably I'd say about 3 years after the fact, right? 3 years after that set released. So, we're just in a whole different market here. Um, it's insane. The environment's crazy. Japanese, the newest set, what's it? The um, Storm Emerald or Storm Emeralda, whatever it's being called. The one centered around Mega Rayquaza. I'm already seeing pre-order prices from Japanese suppliers where it would essentially make me have to price the booster boxes at $300. I mean, when have we seen a Japanese set that right off the bat would have to be sold for $300 a box? I mean, we are not that far removed, maybe a couple years removed from when booster boxes were legitimately, at least even at a higher rate when it started to increase in popularity, still $60-$70 for a Japanese booster box at release, which even that is high, right, compared to like 3 years ago where you could get them for like $50, right, in the US, that is. And we're talking about 6 times that amount, 6x. The pre-sale for pre-sale prices I've seen for the 30th anniversary set in Japanese would have a booster box in, like, for me, what I'd have to price it at almost at $500 a box. Um, you've got these starter decks, the ones with what's it, Eevee, Zorua, um, and I forget the third. But the main thing is that you have a IR promo-ish card, right? Like the Eevee. Oh, it's Sprigatito. Sprigatito is the other one, and it's just a starter deck. So, like, besides that, you don't get any packs or anything. So you're essentially paying for the popularity of the particular promo that comes with it, and they're charging what some booster boxes are going for just the starter deck. Um, the hype is like insane. I don't really understand what's dictating the prices with Storm Emeralda, though. I understand Mega Rayquaza is popular Pokemon, but geez, man, like even the Mega Charizard didn't didn't pull in prices like that. Inferno X, the boxes of Inferno X are way less now, right? The market's kind of corrected and way less. I have a hard time believing that Mega Rayquaza would draw so much more demand than Mega Charizard. And those boxes right off the jump and close to the first couple weeks after release were like 115, 110, maybe up to like 130, 140 within that short time period. Okay, and even that was seemed kind of high for that point in time. But man, we're talking about a brand new set being $300 booster box right off the bat, and you know, no difference in high class or anything. Nothing terribly special about this set. So it's just blowing my mind, and honestly, like it's getting really difficult from the collector standpoint. Um, I don't know if Storm Emeralda will really live up to that hype and really pull in a lot of buyers at that price point. 30th anniversary, I don't know. I don't know if the Japanese one, because it's all releasing at the same time, I don't know if Japanese can really demand that much higher of a price. I mean, you've got, if you have the opportunity to buy the English version, which would of a UPC, I would much rather have the English version UPC than a booster box of Japanese for like $100 less. Um, you know, maybe it's still yet to be seen about guaranteed pulls and that kind of stuff, but it's just hard for me to justify. Like, if I'm a collector in the space, and I am a little to a lesser degree since starting the business, but I mean, these prices are so crazy, so it's hard for me to wrap my head around people actually paying those. And so, from a business perspective, it's kind of risky to be willing to go in on a pre-sale amount that by the time the set actually comes out, it could drop a considerable amount, right? And you're not going to get your money refunded. Sure, you've secured product, but man, if I secure product at one price and then by the time it gets to release and I get the product and the market price on it has dropped considerably, um, you're losing money. Very easy to lose money. Very, very risky to like buy stuff on a pre-sale when we have no idea what the market's going to be for the Japanese version of the product. We see very hyped on English. I don't have English distro, so it's a whole different ball game when you're dealing with a lot of the foreign language stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing from a business standpoint of how to attack this. So it's something I'm going to be continue to monitor the Japanese set prices, um, and kind of just hope for the best. I hope there's a little bit of a price correction and stuff drops, and we'll certainly try to stock it in the shop. But as a shop that's not necessarily super popular, I'm not a common household name sort of thing like a lot of other shops are, where as long as they secure the product, that they're going to be able to sell it. Like, even if I had a really good price on it, I would have to beat a lot of people's prices on it um, to get that business, right? I'd have to do a lot more to get the business than a lot of these others. I haven't been around as long. I'm not as popular from a standpoint of, not as many people necessarily have seen me. But that's kind of point of the lives, is to get out there and try to get in front of people, and then really show you guys that I'm legit. Trying to do everything the right way, and be fair and reasonable. Within reason. It's a business, so still trying to make money, obviously, and continue to grow the business. But I'm not out here to just try to make a quick buck and then hop out of the hobby. I've been back in collecting for um, several years, probably about 3.5 to 4 years at this point, and grew up with it, and I love the hobby. It's just hard to understand how we can continue at this level, and what Pokemon might do. Because it doesn't really help them when younger fans are probably not going to be the ones getting packs in their hands, right? You need some big adult money to be able to purchase the UPCs or a couple ETBs and all that kind of stuff. It's just um, at an all-time high. So let me know if you guys have made it this far. Check out our shop, scrowrips.com. You can also catch us live on YouTube as well as TikTok. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, typically at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. If you want to come in, hang out, chat about the hobby, get some packs open, whatever it might be. If you just want to vibe out, awesome. We'd love to see you guys there. And I hope everybody, we find a way that everybody can enjoy some of the 30th anniversary here. But yeah, it's looking kind of bleak depending on what your wallet looks like. So see you guys next time. Peace.